Well, first question is the relation between intimacy in your artwork and ego, because sometimes you have been speaking in some interviews about ego in contemporary art, especially when you refer to architecture, and you say that unlike art, in architecture one can, the artist or the architect gets rid of the ego. So how would you make the difference? Because you speak about your own person or persona in your artwork. So what is the difference between the ego? What do you intend when you speak about ego in contemporary art? And what is the difference between speaking of one owns inner or not inner, one owns persona and ego? This is the first question. The second question is on the media, the use of the bronze. Do you think that bronze is still the best media for the most, let's say, dramatic, if not tragic, dramatic and media to express authority? Because beside the women, when it comes to your huge and quite dramatic figures like Brothers or United Enemies or Vaterstaat, which I would define as not authoritarian but authoritative figures, do you still use bronze and not color? So when do you decide to use color or bronze in the very big monumental sculptures? And if you think that today, in our times, bronze is still the best media to express monumentality for public sculptures.
So Angela, you asked me. So first, if you work in styrofoam, that's what I do. It's gone within 1-2 years. It doesn't last. Polyester or plastic lasts perhaps 10 years. And it's a waste of money to do non-permanent things. So my casters, they love to cast in bronze because it's the best to work with. Steel is not so nice to work with. Aluminium is not the nicest thing. But basically, bronze is the best what you can get for the price. And it doesn't corrode. If it's well done, it can last hundreds of years. And I'm not afraid. If I would be afraid, I wouldn't do it. But on the other hand, bronze is a lively product. So the patina change from day to day. It's the first skin. It's not on top. It's an oxidation, and it can be controlled by fire and acid. But basically, it's a lively product, like a tree. And this is a big difference to any kind of artificial or plastic things. It's a bit the same like ceramics. If you do a ceramics right, it's a very easy thing to work with. And you get colors that you don't get with plastic, not with any kind of other materials. It's real glass. And it lasts thousands of years if you don't drop it. Now, the main thing is actually these processes are involved with people, are involved with money. And if you don't sell, you cannot do it, or you can do it 1 or 2 times. It basically, you don't have to forget the market process. And since I produce every little thing by myself, I know how much it costs, and so I take care that it's well done. And I keep many of these things, but the cost of labor is pretty important with this casting process. Basically, I'm stopping with the styrofoam and plaster, and it comes to your first question. My ego is not really big. I know what I want, basically, and if I'm lucky, I get it. If I'm not lucky, I forget it. I don't have a map with flags all over the world. There's certain things I certainly don't do, but you need some kind of willpower to get things done, but the ego shouldn't be bigger than the pieces. I'm pretty much behind the pieces, and what's problematic that I spend like 10 times more time on social working or on discussions or on organization than in the workshop. It's basically 1-2 hours in 1 week and not every day. So art still is a social sport. It's not just a one-man thing. And it has to come all together, then it's quite nice, but you never know what's left. And this is my question here. What stays? Basically, what stays in the house, what stays in the media, what stays in the brain, and what comes out as the next work or the next step or the next couple of years where to go. And this is a job to do, and it feels good, but perhaps it doesn't mean anything.